Desmond Landers here, your startup advisor and partner in entrepreneurship. Today we're going to talk about 10 ways to support entrepreneurs. Have you ever been approached by a family member, a coworker, even a son or daughter about a business idea or their desire to go out and become an entrepreneur? This happens to millions of people every single day because a lot of people, even though they appreciate their jobs, they want to employ themselves. The challenge I find is that the people that are being asked the question in many cases have never become an entrepreneur, sometimes have never had that desire, or don't have any domain experience and expertise in the area where the aspiring entrepreneur is trying to be successful. And so what happens is that most people end up saying, no, don't do it, and it's too risky. And they didn't really analyze the opportunity for success. So instead of you saying no and taking what I call the easy way out, I want you to do more for the people that you care about when they come to you and ask you about a business idea and ask you about your thoughts on them becoming an entrepreneur or kind of making a pivot if they're currently an entrepreneur. And I'm going to give you 10 ways to do that right now. And this list is going to go from least expensive to most expensive, just to give you kind of a range of how you can help at different levels. So let's get right into it. Number 10, help the entrepreneur demonstrate the viability of their plan or their concept, right? So, ask the entrepreneur the tough questions to try to poke holes in the idea, and if they can validate and make viable the idea and make the case for it to you, they just may be able to make the case for other people. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and poke holes and discourage and criticize. What I'm telling you to do is challenge them, and in the areas where you see they're weak, work with them to enhance those areas. Many of the greatest companies, many of the greatest lives that people have led through entrepreneurship were faced with challenges. Most successful entrepreneurs, when they see a challenge, they do not stop. They just analyze it and figure out if they're going to build a ladder to get over it, are they going to climb up it, or are they going to go around it? You have to think about that when you're the person that they've trusted to get advice from. Saying no, in many cases, is actually not good advice. It could be very bad advice, and it could hinder someone from leading the life that they want to live just because they're trying to figure things out. Number 9, work with the entrepreneur to create a plan. If they are currently an entrepreneur, that means that they're probably looking to launch a new product or service. Well, then help them write the business plan. Give your feedback on that, but don't tell them that it's not possible. Even if it's not viable, help them write the actual plan and then show to both of you that it's not viable when the numbers speak for themselves or when the plan speaks for itself. If they're an aspiring entrepreneur, then what you want to do is you want to help them create a transition plan to go from their current full-time job or part-time job into entrepreneurship. There is a way to do that, and it's not impossible. Number 8, become an advisor. Many people that are not in the startup entrepreneur world, they call this a mentor. Become an advisor. Tell the entrepreneur and say, look, I don't know everything that you have going on, but I do have domain expertise in accounting or law or just general business practices, and I can provide you value there. I want to become an advisor for you to help you navigate some of those areas that you may be short on. So become an advisor. Number 7, refer a customer. Do you know that the reason that most entrepreneurs fail is because they are unable to acquire customers in a fast enough period of time to cover their expenses and stay in business? That's the number 1 reason why businesses fail. I'm sitting in the Marriott right now. If they didn't have people checking into their rooms on a daily basis, there's only so much further they could go to sustain this hotel before they would be in the negative and they would have to close shop. That's the number 1 reason. So if you can refer them a customer, go ahead and do that, and that by default, by bringing revenue to them, will automatically reduce the chances of them not being successful. Number 6, buy them business cards. Most people, when they meet an entrepreneur, the first thing they ask is, hey, do you have a business card? Because they want a piece of information that they can take along with them so that if they need to follow up with that person, they can stay in contact. Well, business cards can be purchased on Vistaprint as low as like $10 for a pack of like 50 or 500, something ridiculous. All the way up to $100 to $300 if you go to a specialty business card creator. That is the conduit in the transfer of information from the entrepreneur to the client. Buy them business cards. Number 5, which may even be more important than business cards, is help them contribute to purchasing and building a website. Every time I go to a business conference now, I don't even really get the business card question as much as I get the question of, do you have a website? That's where people can go, and that's one of the first levels they deem to see, okay, does this person actually know what they're talking about? Are they serious about what they do? And the better your website is designed, This is nothing against the templates and the builders, etc. But the better your website design, the more people take you seriously because they see that you're all in because you've put a significant investment into design or programming or lead generation and acquisition and your positioning statement and the way things are put together on your website. So I'm not telling you to buy the entrepreneur's website. I mean, if you want to do that and you have the financial means or the ability to do that, let's say you're a software developer and your friend comes to you, maybe build it for him. I'm not telling you to do everything for that entrepreneur. All I'm telling you to do is make a contribution. So if you find a place where the website's $500, hey, give them $250 or maybe give them $375, 50 or 75% of that to get them to completion, because sometimes people just don't have the money or they don't have the money to allocate because they have a family, and maybe you're single, or maybe you have a family but maybe you've been in a highly lucrative job where you've got some savings, you can contribute. That's step number 5. Step number 4 is work with the entrepreneur to figure out what their monthly fixed expenses are going to be. Now you could be, looking at their housing, right? Their rent payment or their mortgage payment or their car note. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you really want to help an entrepreneur, those are the things that would stop them from moving forward. And those are the things when sales are not reflective of how they want them to be in the early stages. It doesn't affect your office space, or it doesn't affect other employees because that person doesn't have it. But what they do have is fixed expenses of their housing, transportation, their insurance, their car insurance, and all these types of things. Those are some of the higher level things. What I would recommend to you is if the entrepreneur needs business insurance, or if they need web hosting on a monthly basis, or if they need an accounting service that costs them $100, $125 a month, put together a plan and then create a finite term to fund that entrepreneur. So say that entrepreneur needs $500 a month. Well, create a plan of 3 months or 6 months or 12 months to say, hey, I'm going to pay those expenses as long as you're doing what you need to do to build this company, to take that pressure off of you so that you can be successful. Number 3, this is one of the number 1 reasons why people actually don't go into business for themselves, because they're worried about this: health insurance. Purchase a health insurance for the plan for the entrepreneur if they're going to strike it out on their own. If they're in moderate health, decent health, and they're looking to go out on their own, look into organizations that provide health insurance at a discounted rate, like NACE, the National Association of Self-Employed People. They've banded together business owners all across the country, tens or hundreds of thousands, and they've went to insurance companies to go actually reduce the rate on group insurance. The same way that at your current job, you're getting a discounted rate on your insurance and your benefits because the group and the bulk purchasing power of all of your coworkers, employees in the company that you work for are able to drive the price down. There are organizations that will allow you to do that and work with the entrepreneur to do that. I'll tell you this, you could get a health insurance plan for that entrepreneur as low as $75 a month. I've seen it happen, as long as their health is decent. Now here's the other thing, the entrepreneur may be married to his wife, or she may be married to a husband that has a job that provides the benefits for the entire family. Well, look at an alternate form of insurance. Is it car insurance that they need? Do they need business insurance? Try to pick that up for them for a defined period of time. Number 2, entrepreneurs need transportation. They need to get to their clients, suppliers, and vendors. Let's say you're dealing with an entrepreneur who doesn't have a car right now. I mean, that may sound crazy, but even successful entrepreneurs in places like San Francisco and New York, they don't even have vehicles. But they do have train passes or bus passes because that's how they do business. It doesn't matter what city they're living in, where they are. It doesn't matter the circumstance, but the point here is they need transportation. So if they don't have a car, buy them a train pass, buy them a bus pass. If they do have a car, try to figure out, if you can contribute to the monthly maintenance if they have heavy driving. But whatever it is, make sure they can get from point A to point B to get business done, because if they can't, that could be the number 1 single reason why they're not able to do a deal. And the last one, which is the most expensive, this is the number 1 holy grail for all entrepreneurs, is make an equity investment in their business. Now, equity, to some people sounds like a complicated term. I mean, if you've purchased a house, you know what equity is. If you've purchased stocks, you know what equity is. It's very simple. An equity investment is a trade of currency. For us in the United States, it's a trade of dollars to an entrepreneur's corporation in return for shares. Now, you may be saying, well, why would I do that? You would do that because if you think there's any idea that this entrepreneur's concept could be successful, you're looking to hold those shares until those shares actually increase in value. It's the same thing you do every day investing into the stock market with your mutual fund. The only difference is you don't have any direct influence over the organizations that you're investing into today. But with this entrepreneur, you could help them write the business plan. You could help consult with the advertising company or copy. You could help them acquire customers. You could have more control over that investment than you currently do in your investments in Apple, in Walmart, in General Electric. So that's the way to look at it. Make an equity investment if you truly believe in this entrepreneur. Look, these are 10 ways that you can support an entrepreneur and help people get to where they need to be. And I guarantee you, if you help them get to where they need to be, a couple things are going to happen. One, they'll be indebted to you for life, because most people are not going to take the time to understand the 10 ways in which that can actually help an entrepreneur become successful. Number two, if they get to the point to where they can buy their own time back and they can become self-employed, that's one less person who's got to beg for a job or has got to fight other people for a job in this economy. That could even maybe affect you if they're in the same position. You can invest in this entrepreneur and they go do their thing, and that could be one less person in the marketplace for you. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but when you look at the macro numbers when it comes to employed people versus people that are self-employed and that are entrepreneurs, the more entrepreneurs that become successful, the less people that are in the marketplace looking for a job. So if there's scarcity of a job like we have of jobs like we had in the last couple of years in the United States, wouldn't it be good to have less people competing for jobs? That would directly benefit you, even if you have no idea, no want to become an entrepreneur. The third thing is this: if that entrepreneur actually generates enough revenue and then profit to start to employ other people, now you've made a direct impact in the economy and you've helped the economy create jobs. Forget politics. The way to create jobs is you find a problem or you satisfy a need and you get as many people to say yes to that. You collect their revenue, you save the profits, and you reinvest back into the economy by creating jobs for people. Those are the three things that you could do. So my name is Desmond Landers, Startup Advisor, and your partner in entrepreneurship. The next time someone asks you your opinion on a business idea or your help with helping them become an entrepreneur, don't just say no, but watch this video and help contribute to their life with 10 ways to support that entrepreneur. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.